Hello, my name is Randy Myers, and I come to you today to announce an exciting new YouTube channel born out of my desire to communicate with others who may think as I do. This site, which I've dubbed The Explorers, will be dedicated to all those who, like me, are insatiably curious of life's most perplexing topics. I have spent the better part of my 4 decades of existence pondering these topics, these innately deep subjects, which continue to pique my curiosity even to this day. But before I dig in and begin specific discussion of this subject matter, I'd like to offer a brief but personal expose so that you may have a better understanding of what drives me to these most scintillating of ideas. First, let me just tell you that I am immensely dissatisfied with the present course and direction of humanity. Now, before you think me absolutely negative, and I don't mean to start out on a negative light, please understand that I strive to deal with reality however it is presented in my life, be it positive or negative. I would propose, though, that the majority of life is absolutely positive. And I would say don't let anybody tell you differently. But it doesn't take a genius to see the negative aspects of life as well. We in America seem to be oblivious to what is occurring around us. We stay cooped up in our walled-off worlds, hoping that nobody sees us for what we truly are. We collect, accumulate, amass, assemble, and compile as much stuff as we can possibly get away with, all the while hoping that this will cure what ails us inside. We see the strife in our world, yet do very little about it. And my question is, why is this? And I don't believe it's due to a callous heart or outright unwillingness to assist or help. On the contrary, I do believe in the innate goodness of humanity. Yet we seem to be stuck, unable to find a venue for which our help could truly make a difference. There are many, I believe, who seek to assist, yet on the whole, the vast majority of us are simply too overwhelmed with our own worlds, our own circumstances, our own lives, to help with the world at large or our communities around us. Second, I am also dissatisfied with the present course and direction of our religious tradition. Considering that the U.S. is looked upon as a Christian nation, obviously, I am sad to say that I simply do not see it nor experience it in this way. I realize that religion as a topic is one which has the capability to incite anger and indignation, especially if spoken of outside accepted societal or religious norms. But I feel the time has come to unabashedly take a deep look at why our religious heritage is not serving us as a society, nor has it worked worldwide for the 2,000 years of its existence, at least the Christian religion for sure. This unabashedly honest look will no doubt bring discomfort to many, for religious tradition has embedded itself, obviously, in our American culture. In fact, our cultural story, the story that we tell ourselves over and over again about ourselves, is one imbued, infused with the Christian tradition. But alas, unless one is willing to question the very topics that formulates one's fiber of being, then it is of no use to even bring them up. And lastly, I am completely dissatisfied with the course and direction of our political system. I have become severely disillusioned with American politics. Neither party, Republican nor Democrat, seems to represent American thought at the moment. It seems to me that most, if not all, politicians become corrupted to some extent by the money brokers that they serve. Beholden to those who finance their elections or their continued stay in power, they are obligated to follow the path set out for them by the powers behind the throne, so to speak. Thus, if I'm electing someone based on what they're espousing, what they're saying, then I would do better to check out who's given them the most money. For reality says that this is what he or she will be supporting while in office. Thus, instead of working together to find solutions for what is ailing us as a country, each party simply follows what their power brokers desire. which in my opinion inevitably brings about strife and discord in Washington and in every state capital. I bring these topics to the fore because they form so much of what I experience on a daily basis. And as I look around at all the people who frequent my sphere of existence, I'm not altogether encouraged by what I see or experience. Thus, my desire is to find something meaningful, something that makes sense of so much that seems nonsensical to me. And this is what drives me to the topics I will shortly discuss, for it is in these topics, most especially topics relating to life, love, and unity, that excite me and offers the hope for which my soul yearns. So now that you know a little about what drives my desire for this outlet, let me tell you a little bit more about myself. I am a funeral director / pre-need salesman by trade. I meet with families on a frequent basis to discuss either future options for their funerals or present options for someone who has already died. It is a career which brings me much personal satisfaction and pride. Knowing that I've been entrusted with something so important means so much to me. I have been married for nearly 20 years and have 2 daughters, one 13 and one 6, almost 7. My family brings me much happiness and personal satisfaction. I love to write. In fact, I have recently completed the first part of a novel entitled The Gift I Bear, as well as the first part of a nonfiction series entitled Up Close and Personal, Stories of Courage in the Midst of Devastation. I appreciate the things which stir and invigorate my soul, which cause me to ponder deeply. These things will become the subjects of each weekly posting, as well as for the basis for a weekly blog on my website, d-ft-reaper.com, or don'tfearthereaper.com. Now to the subject at hand, the topics I intend to discuss, both on this channel and my website. These topics will invariably will vary considerably week to week and will inevitably be centered on whatever I may be encountering at the moment. By and large, the topics are highly esoteric in nature, for I have a sincere appreciation for and curiosity of all things spiritual. To this end, in fact, I have acquired 2 master's degrees, essentially in Protestant and Catholic theology, so that I could learn as much as possible about the faith that I was immersed in. Now, I will tell you from the outset that I do not presently consider myself a Christian in the biblical sense, in the biblical definition. I certainly harbor no ill will towards the established Christian church, per se, but I no longer agree with the central tenets of the church, either Protestant or Catholic, and I will certainly discuss more about this later. I have a true appreciation for Jesus, of course, and I will discuss that later as well. I have also read thousands of books, conducted thousands of pointed hours of pointed research, and written hundreds, if not thousands, of pages dedicated to this research. Because of the time and energy expended upon these matters, I feel that I possess the accumulated knowledge necessary to intelligently discuss these matters. The topics I then intend to discuss are these, listed in no particular order. 1, death. Of course, since I'm in the business of death, I am innately and immensely curious about death. And of course, that leads to afterlife, what happens after we die. I will discuss that. Evolution, both in a physical and spiritual sense. I have a true desire to speak about evolution. Matters of the soul, God, or the singularity of life, reincarnation, or past life experiences, paranormal activity, ghosts, spiritual activity that cannot be explained, the ideas of heaven and hell as places, the spirit world, of course, UFOs, quantum physics, if you can believe that. I have a true curiosity for quantum physics. Cosmology, the origin of life, extraterrestrial life, religion, of course, and authors Neil Donald Walsh, Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, and Origin of Alexandria, just to name a few. Near-death experiences, the meaning of life in general, and love as a force in the universe. These topics then will form a backdrop for much of what I intend to discuss in upcoming postings. I look forward to discussing so much of this with you who share the same passion as I. It matters little to me if you agree with my viewpoints, for it's in the discussion that fruitful learning is gained. My ultimate goal is to use this post as a vehicle for change, not that my way of viewing is the way, but as simply another way. My hope is that by opening this dialogue and centering all discussion around peaceful acceptance of one another's ideas, that perhaps this will spur each of us onto a more mindful existence on a daily basis. Perhaps this openness will enhance each of our desires to lovingly change what we see as negative around us. And perhaps this will ultimately begin a small tide of ideological change that will grow into a tsunami of peace, love, and acceptance. Who knows? Perhaps this will change the world. You never know. Thank you so much.